Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Nice. Time check. Yes, it's approximately 20 minutes past your 8 o'clock. Arian back on to the ground report. Current went for a little while and shut down everything, man. But we are back up and running. Lennox Smith, Mickie, where are you all?
The Ground Report with Mickie K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
Bang, 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 bang.
Nice. Lennox Smith, go ahead by the time them organize and just blast out so people will get the new link. I lost in current for a little bit.
I tried calling you to find out because I suspect that might have been the...
Yeah, boy. Whoa.
All right. Yes, indeed. Well, I trust that all what I had to say with respect to the situation as far as Amy Brown is concerned, former Minister of Foreign Affairs and CARICOM matters, would have been clearly articulated and received by the general viewership and listenership, because I think it's important, because if you follow these people, and it's always to suggest some kind of, there always is some kind of what I consider be sinister political motive that will get them nowhere in the present circumstance. I say so because I believe that they really believe that people are foolish, and I've heard that over and over from time immemorial now, and I suppose that has been the case regularly now, particularly when we get to the underbelly, when we get to the nitty-gritty, when we get to the granular level of these individuals who have held high political office in the governance of Trinidad and Tobago in the past, but have proven to be so feeble and so vulnerable to what I consider to be intellectual as well as verbal frailty. Yeah, that is how I see them. And therefore, they ought not to have been in government in the first place. And we would have said that over and over for the last 9 years since they would have been in office. to let the population know. And now we are seeing unfolding before our very eyes a collapsed, deteriorated, and clearly of no use, hackneyed, brutal, and incapable of managing the affairs of the country, clearly at the level of even that of being in opposition. So that is where this situation is as far as that is concerned. I just want to make it clear that once again, the pronouncements by the Prime Minister, the Honorable Prime Minister, that of the Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, talking about Mr. Sobers, and that of Ralph Mirage, the ambassador to CARICOM, is nothing short of being consistent. Consistent and, of course, constant with a singular message. And that has been so consistent that even in opposition, the UNC, under the present Prime Minister, then opposition leader, demonstrated her position as far as the Venezuela matter is concerned, Trinidad and Tobago, and of course other CARICOM countries, particularly in this case, of course, that of Guyana. Once again, the Prime Minister said in uncertain terms that if Venezuela attacks with its bellicose language and its aggressiveness to that country, trying to take 2/3 of that country's territory, sovereign territory, without, or should I say, dismissing the decision of the International Court that was responsible for adjudicating on that matter, to which both of them made their cases, are talking about Guyana and Venezuela in The Hague. And then, of course, Ralph Gonsalves, the Prime Minister of St. Vincent, also attempted an immediate intervention. And after all of that was done, and it was agreed that no one should be aggressive, no one should breach what was agreed, Venezuela continued, of course, with its bellicose language and its aggression. And therefore, what the present Prime Minister said, that if Venezuela attacks Guyana,
whole 1 minute after,
Trinidad and Tobago can be used as a base or a platform from which, of course, to address that problem by the United States.
Nice. Go ahead, caller.
Go ahead.
You go, Martin, inside. Professor Andy and Assistant Professor Lennox and Mickie. I am in support of our Prime Minister, who said if he attacked Guyana, we going to use, if the American want it, our facilities to help Guyana. Right. Full stop in that thing. I want to go back in history. History tells us a lot, right? 1996. All you remember what happened in 1996 with the Pandey regime, the UNC Pandey, and what is happening now with the Kamala Prasad Bisesa regime. The same thing, with different clothing. In 1995, 1996, we had what we called the Ship Rider Agreement. People remember that? And what was the Ship Rider Agreement? The Americans and Trinidad, I think Trinidad was the only one, but Pandey said, to hell with the rest of CARICOM. He wants to safeguard his country from the narco traffickers that were coming from that peninsula down there. And he gave the Americans to basically any sort of narcotic trading using our waters. He gave them carte blanche to basically help us. So that arrangement was a very, very good one. We didn't have to buy no OPV that Manning and them went to. We had the Americans helping us with that. This is the same thing, but this is slightly different. We're going to get protection because they're going after the narco traffickers. But there's one important thing nobody is talking about. How America how Venezuela ship out the oil. If there is a blockade of oil being shipped out of Venezuela, then all of those shipments, most likely, if it's using sanctioned oil tankers with no transponder on, then you're going to curtail the economic sustenance of Venezuela. So that is what the Americans want, basically to cramp them economically. And where is KCR and the PNM was with that? Didn't they allow people to turn off the transponder to ship oil and get oil out of Venezuela? And the only people who are, the Russians have the biggest fleet, and that is a norm for them. So it's two birds with one stone. They're going to cripple Venezuela economically, and then we are going to get some redress with respect to our borders being used with the Guti track, all of the other islands, to do the narco trafficking. Why is the rest of CARICOM so close to Maduro and his regime? Something, they can't be so close. Something underground is happening. Some other agenda. Are they being paid to open their borders for trafficking and the go-to track to be used? We have to remember that, and I am in sync with it. The rest of the CARICOM, we should have, in this time, with all this thing going on, sue Mexico, sue the Americans for guns coming in with Mexico. Just sign up the similar CIPRIDA agreement, and the whole of the Caribbean CARICOM countries would have been protected. But what they are afraid of? Are they afraid the Americans are going to find out who is Mr. Big and who is Mr. C in the CARICOM countries? Because a lot of these people, because of the Petro-Carib deal, having a benefit from the Maduro deal, and they're not really in sync with Trinidad. You remember Manning in 1996 in Guyana say, if the Petro-Carib deal goes through, it will be the detriment of Trinidad oil and gas industry. That is what Manning said. And look what happened. In 2018, Rowley shut down Petro-Carib, shut down Petrotrin, and we're suffering out of that. So it's just to the mortar and the pestle. Somebody's benefiting from the Venezuela Petro-Carib deal and all of these things, trying to prop up Maduro. If Maduro, as the Americans say, they have all the intention, is a narco trafficker, head of the Solis or the Sun cartel, then you have to get rid of him. We as a country cannot be dealing and cushion up to and be in the same bed with Maduro. We have to get rid of him. I'll go and have a nice morning.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. But meanwhile, I just sent out the links for all who lost us. Oh boy. So they can just get back the new link to get us on. I think Gael, Trinidad and Tobago, Gael, the Caribbean, already get back the new link. So I want to believe that we are up and running. Go ahead, caller. Good morning to you. Where are you calling from? What's your contribution this morning?
I'm not seeing anything on the TV. What's going on?
Oh, it will start back just now. I will send a message again to Mikey. But the link was already sent back to Gael.
All right, okay.
So it's supposed to start back just now.
Right, I want to know what's going on.
All right.
Yes, okay then.
The Ground Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
Go ahead, caller. But meanwhile, I send out the new link. What's your contribution this morning on the Ground Report? Go ahead.
Andy, Andy, good morning to you on your ground report and a wonderful program you have been doing. You are back on Facebook and YouTube, so we thank you. Andy, I want to say something this morning.
What about
before
Gael? We
came
own
on.
Gael back yet? Or you ain't too sure?
I don't know yet.
Oh, go ahead.
No,
You go
but
ahead.
I know we're back on. You see, the young man that Andy that made his contribution. I want to send
Anderson
out a
Wilson.
lifeline.
Anderson Wilson.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to send out a lifeline on his behalf. Let me tell people something who are attacking the young man. That young man is one of the gentlemen, and I following you all over ground report. I am one of the avid listener. I don't call in only time for ground report. You see, whenever you call,
Yes, former alderman, UNC on the whole, Joffy.
Yes.
All right, alderman, alderwoman. I just say alderwoman instead alderman. Alderwoman, former alderwoman for the UNC, Joe Field. Go ahead.
And when the party was in opposition and you make a call for people to come out and protest and to bring on people, that young man was one of the first gentlemen would have responded. Am I right?
Yes. He's one of the people that is respond every time we go out, yes.
Right. So I don't think people should be attacking his contribution. You see, let me tell you something. They say, Andy, I heard you make a contribution personally concerning the treatment you get. And I want to tell you, it is not you alone. It is plenty people feeling it. And I want to warn the UNC activists, especially those who attack one another. Stop it. Stop the attacking. Stop the reporting of activists to ministers and to the PM. Because when you do that, and the party back in opposition is those that who reporting, those are the one who will pick up the mantle and fight for the party. Those of you that already got in position, you all are not the one that will be fighting when the party is in opposition. Let us stop attacking. Let us stop going and reporting one another. And let us try and build the nation and build the party. Andy, this is my contribution because I have more to say now, but I don't want to say it yet. Stop the fighting and stop the reporting of hard-working members. Thank you, Andy.
The Ground Report with Mickie K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
Bang, 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 bang.
Next caller, go ahead, caller.
Blessed morning, Mickie. Blessed morning, Andy. Blessed morning, Lennox.
KFC, morning. Triple G, morning.
I was taking the contribution with my boy Anderson Wilson and the old cool and the beat them down there and the internet cut over. I saw them back up online. And when a fella talking in mind and talking in real, do I you call them trying to attack now? Because when we was out there protesting, close the borders, everything we there. Twiggy that ring down PNM. I don't care about Twiggy and them, but a certain PNM activists say we wrong the UNC, they look for the party to look bad and real dieted soldiers who fight and toil. Like the young do no talk there. So I'm to react the activists and them. They might take afraid then, because all the PNMs move. They make sure I feel activists and them, put them on stage, put them on board, give them contract, give them this, give them that. And people who fighting and toiling, don't try to blacklist them. Because be watching and seeing what's going on the outside. Who don't want to talk out, I them. I damn everything me talking about. I said, but
where's the problem? Remember, it's not we stopping all as hosts from talking all mine. It's the callers who saying, hold on, wait. It's the callers and all here. So why all here? Because I seen Mastodon saying, Andy, Mickie, Lennox, all here too deceitful. Again, we don't stop anybody from talking.
And we hold on for the last 9 years plus to get rid of this evil, wicked PNM. And literally, it's still a PNM activist and them on board. I have told that ring down PNM. You're on board already. Lennox could be on board. Lennox is a man fight, toil, you fight.
But don't fight for we. Don't fight for we. We will handle we stories.
And
You
that
could always
one,
give-
the Twiggy come on a program and say she and Penny because real good. She just talk. I know them not generating, them eat our food, them like grasshoppers, like really soldiers who fight and toy with the UNC. I want to hear them. Look my boy Heavy Duty and TC and them fellas that they eat and drink too. And get rid of them as activists, them pay them activists and them, but I want to see more so them eating and drinking too. And my boy Tunji, everybody, don't waiting on. We holding on. Because we hold on for the last 9 years. We have some months again to go. After the budget, we go talk with man and come out and see what's going on. Bless.
Wow. Go ahead, next caller. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Good morning, ground report. Andy,
Go ahead.
Tunapula here. Let me tell people
The
something.
activists them getting impatient.
Well, Andy, let me tell you something. This government, people voted for this government. This government makes some promises on the campaign trail, which they said that they would, hoping and based on the economy, to fulfill those promises. When they came into government, they meet a crash economy. They're still trying to come into terms of what is the state of the economy.
Right, but what they are saying, because I know going to be no hypocrite. What they are saying is they didn't mind holding on. But what it is hurting the frontline activists and them that they are UNC. They are saying they're seeing people like Iowa George, Twiggy, this one, that one who is bring down PNM, getting positions before them. They didn't mind them had us to wait too, just like them. But how them did not have to wait, but them have to wait. That is what the people saying. So let me don't be no hypocrite for them. Go ahead, Tunapuna.
I'm not in favor of these people at all. Because I will tell you something. Iowa George was given a radio station with the assistance of taxpayers' money by Joe Newell Williams to promote a PNM agenda. Understand? And here it is. Now that I don't know that they put them on state board. These are things that people will question.
So this is the things that they're seeing that they're vexed about. So it's not that they don't want to hold on, but they're seeing those things going on. They don't mind waiting, but what they're saying is, how manage them have to wait, but these are the people who's ring down PNM didn't have to wait. So let me be real with what the people are talking now.
Right. What the Prime Minister and the government trying to do is to appease certain people and to make it look like, look, everybody wins when UNC win. But at the same time, not at the expense of those who sacrifice. Like, for instance, the ground report family. You, Mickie, Lennox, Mickie get his position. But in terms of you and Lennox, because this is one of the cry, and I always say this, that the ground report, you, Mickie, and Lennox, work harder than plenty of the people who today are in position in the government, be it as ministers or even on state board. And therefore you ought to be rewarded. It's not a matter of you won't looking out for some favor or something. You work tirelessly day and night without any financial rewards, any benefits, and what have you. And we can't afford to sit by and stay quiet and allow these things to happen. We have to speak out. We have to make the government aware that, hey, this injustice that all you're doing to us, we will speak out. However, as we say, we think we're not in favor of PNM returning back into government. We are just calling on you to do what we see is an injustice and what needs to be corrected. And it cannot be at the expense of those who work hard and toil. For those who just to come in there, especially PNM people and whatnot and things. Because as we know, PNM people, they are not loyal. They are loyal to PNM, but where they see they could get a food, they will go there. And eventually, they still have the PNM, embedded in their heart. That is how they are. Now, Andy, I want to make a statement with respect to this.
Go ahead, man.
With Maduro and what have you on this thing. Too much hypocrisy with Trinidadians. And now you see CARICOM jumping into the fray. And I'm going to tell Kamla Pasabi Sesson, you're on your own. You have to stand by yourself. You make a decision. To hell was CARICOM. Because all of them would stay idly by and say nothing when they see injustice taking place in the world. Now, I'll tell you why I'm saying this, Andy. Kamla Pasabi Sesson recognize, hey, because and before watching the program, all the breakdown, I knew I was watching all the guy. I was listening, I switched to Stefan White's all the breakdown just now. And Stefan was referring to an agreement that was signed, I think it was last year or year before, with the PNM government, with Fitzgerald Hines, that in the event of anything untoward, that the Americans will be so welcome to set up a thing in Trinidad and Tobago. You know, to have American presence in Trinidad soil. So what the hell these people, the Americans right now, they're not in Trinidad water, they're not in our country. So where's the protest and all of that? When the PNM government, and here, listen to the hypocrisy of Amory Brown and all those callers and whatnot, even the Chamber of Congress and whatnot. America is our greatest trading partner. We run to America for everything, for shelter. They supply us with all kind of things. They give us all kind of assistance. Let me be real, Andy. America has investment in Guyana.
Lennox, you on it? I'm putting you on. Go ahead, Tuna Puna. Lennox, you on. Let me just make sure nothing cut off again. You go ahead, Tuna Puna. Lennox, you on. Go ahead.
They have their people, their investors in Guyana. So therefore, they would have to protect the interest there. Similarly, we have Exxon Mobil and whatnot, and other American business investors in Trinidad and Tobago who America will want to protect. Andy, and if it is that something should happen, let me just say, because remember they say the oil veins that run in from Venezuela, it is bordering with Guyana and Trinidad and Tobago. You see what they're trying to, Venezuela is trying to get hold of the Essequibo region? Could now, if Maduro and them decide to put the squeeze on me and say, you see, we're going to put the squeeze on Trinidad and Tobago. What the hell the people in this country is going to do? Not call on America? Huh? Not call on America to help me? This one tell you the level of hypocrisy. And Kamla Pasabi says is right. We are taking a neutral position. But she is supporting Donald Trump for the stand that they're taking, because here why? We have a high percentage of criminal activities in this country linked with the Venezuelan underworld, drugs, human trafficking, drugs and what have you. And because of the fact that Keith Rowley, who told that he'd been wanted on the Interpol list and whatnot, it is because of the American government who said that they provided us with necessary equipment and patrol vessels and radars and whatnot. And Rowley and the PNM government did not install nothing. They did not put nothing in place to protect our borders. As a consequence of that, our country, Trinidad and Tobago, was being used as a transshipment point because the Americans and them blocked off all those other areas from Colombia and Ecuador and all them main exporting countries and things. And therefore, the only alternative route that they had to use was to Trinidad and Tobago. And as a consequence, we see how much migration we have, not only in terms of people, but with criminal activities and whatnot. And America has taken a position, hey, we are going to stamp out this damn drugs and this human trafficking and this drugs and all of that. That is coming through Trinidad and Tobago and heading into the to America and Europe and all this place. What is wrong with that? And we boasting, but we have a high crime rate and whatnot. But every blasted thing we want calling on America for help, to assist me in that, to train we military people, to do this, to do that. Look at right now how much people, Americans coming down here and giving medical attention and things by the boat and all this kind of thing. I am not one in favor, because I never went to America. I am not one in favor of America because of this position that they take in terms of Saddam Hussein and Gaddafi and all these fellas of them. And Manuel Noriega and all these people. I am not in favor of America. But let me be real. If in the event that something had to happen to we, is we going to call on America? We will depend on them. What we going to do? And the hypocrisy. I'm going to tell you when the chamber comes and all of them talk. And everybody who wants to criticize Kamala for taking a position. She has taken a neutral position. And her neutral position is this. I am not in favor of that. But hear what? I support them because of the fact that our country is riddled with crime. And if they could use the technology and the expertise and things to get rid of these criminal activities through the guns and the drugs and human trafficking and what. So what?
Before you continue, the Illuminati buster Shaz is saying, Andy, all them CARICOM leaders who talking, especially St. Vincent and Grenada and etc., and the small islands, they're forgetting Petro-Caribbean when all of them take chain up from Chavez and stop buying our petroleum products. They all turn their back on us when we needed it. Go ahead.
I always remember this, boy, let me tell you, there was a calypso that was sung by Swallow. Trinidad is the Caribbean godfather. If all you could remember, Lennox should remember that. And we reach out to all the CARICOM countries, in fact, Grenada and Bill Airport. Manning and build housing scheme and thing in some of them islands and thing for these people. Our taxpayers' money help to sustain them. Understand what I'm saying, Andy? The hypocrisy in them. But you see, they always, and I will always say this, it may sound racial to you, but you see, because of the CARICOM region was basically more Afrocentric. And then we had Basil Pandey coming out of East Indian. He was being pressured. This is, and then now you have Kamala Prasad. This is why Basil Pandey said that he is not going to get rid of the Privy Council in favor of the Caribbean Court of Justice. All this is political thing that you see shenanigan by these so-called CARICOM leaders and them. Andy, understand what I'm saying? Andy, I want to make just craving a minute extra of your time. One of the biggest hypocrisy I see playing off now, I don't know if you read it or if Lennox read it. The Express, Saturday, page 7. Scotland, back to school help for hundreds or more, where they're using children on the papers, pictures of little children, school children, 10 years and 7 years and all of that, to highlight this thing with the status of the CPEP contractors who, CPEP workers who were, the closure of CPEP and whatnot. I won't say fired, but they were suspended because of the corruption and what have you. And this is a level that PNM had reached to using children as pawn in the campaign to make this government look bad. But I want to tell the people something. It is the same PNM people who keep...
But before you tell them that, I just want to add one thing, because in the background here thing in there, so by the meanwhile Lennox is there too. Before I tell them that, what I will want to say to that article in the Express is that why Scotland and Penny didn't organize and use them same children when Rowley and Stuart Young was running the country, throwing away all we money, having a deficit budget. In 10 years, they spent nearly $1 trillion. Never pay public servants, they back pay and raise the people 1%, 0%, 0.00, all those things. Is it not their fault? Why today many people are jobless, suffering, and the country now no money? And I believe Kamala Prasad be says them waiting for the budget in order to get these things back up and running. Go ahead.
Let me tell you something. You see, I'm going to tell you something. PNM use these people to give them a URP and CPEP and these kind of low-paying dog jobs that they cannot help themselves. They have to, because they have to come out and support PNM in the campaign rally and whatnot. I want to draw your attention to something, Andy. Remember the fellow they call Fazal Karen? He has passed on now. That was the Minister of Tertiary Education under the Bate Pandey thing. Lennox? And he introduced some technology and something thing that to bring these people, especially the African people, out of this quagmire that they could learn to fly aeroplane, they could learn engineering and to promote themselves Because these jobs that they're using CPEP and URP, it's not sustainable job that they cannot take a loan, they cannot have a home, they cannot educate the children properly as all the other races do. And this is why you see, I always will say this, that the PNM support all the other races. Look at today where the filthy rich of this country, the Syrian, the Chinese, the Caucasian, and the Indians. What African people have entered here, Andy? You just had them as CPEP workers. You, the people, when PNM, when Rowley could call them hyenas in the African jungle, when Donna Cox tell them, all you're not needy, all you're greedy. When they close down the computers that the government had provided for poor people, children, Rowley, when they was saying that cannot work, especially to the African children, they go use it for pornography. Watch out today what the Indian children are benefited from it. And you shut down that. All these are issues that people have to look at that why PNM did so much things. They'll fire people. They treated, they give them the worst. Look at the negotiations of all these public servants. What have you done? Because the majority of public servants are of Afro descent. But you didn't think about them. But today, because all you're out of government, all you want to place all your emphasis, that all this, these people who fighting to restore black dignity and to make sure that this government do so much about that. And the people have to wait until this budget is read, and they will know what is the provision that this government is making. Because they have to source money, Andy. They have to borrow money. Because remember this, when they went into there, look at what is going on, Andy, with Caribbean Airlines and all that. The corruption that was taking place there. Andy, let me just say something. People will text me when I say now, Caribbean Airlines, the man there, they had some Varuna Kuar thing. This big expertise they talk about and whatnot, work with big companies and whatnot, and you run the blasted Caribbean Airlines to the ground, and you pay $60 million when all you fail to submit financial audited reports. But you know who they pay $60 million to? Ernest and Young. And another company, Ernest and Young is Cho Chong and them family owned. But all you can't, and only have a big staff who have internal audit, but only went for external audit and pay $60 million. Why? Because it's Cho Chong and them. All these are things that corruption that is taking place in this country. All the issues, Andy. And this government has the responsibility to deal with it. And Kamala Prasad says, you will have to take, you and the government will have to take some serious and unpopular decisions, but it must be the right decision and go after all those. Forget that you're winning the next election. Do what is right, and if you do what is right, the people will support you. But just don't prolong the agony. We want to go after all the wrongdoers. The business sector, the banking sector, the government ministers of the past, and everybody, people from the chamber, come out and water. And unless the DPP, the Commissioner of Police, or the justice system, they kick start this thing on this, we're going to be tapping into
but short and sweet, again, because you're going to have to close off now. Like opening lines,
okay.
What you think about the government trying to get rid of the CEO of First Citizens Bank and the board, the Rowley them board that's still there, stop the CEO from resigning once she remained there?
Andy, the CEO, Darbasi, what's her name? She is, I always have questions about her. And you remember First Citizens, it was a bank that was formed with the Workers Bank and the Penny Bank. Lennox could elaborate more on that. To build this bank, and therefore it is state-owned. And therefore, the problem that we see that was taking place there, because there was some element of corruption with the PNM government, in terms of loans and all this kind of thing, Andy. They're not going to escape unscathed, And Kamala Prasad says they had to put down their foot and deal with all these boards and all these things because of that, with Caribbean Airlines and all these companies and all of them. If all you can run the business to make money, here what happens? All you pack all your bags and go, Because and all these people who were talking about, it's not automatic for members of the state board to resign when a new government come into power. Nonsense. All you have to go because why? All you was abject failure. All you start there and just getting a hefty salary and running these enterprises to the ground. And this government have to take a firm decision. Forget how popular it might be. And remove all you. Put competent people there. And you know what she do? She really right attack to those who she put there, especially she ministers and state board people. I put in all there. But here what happening? All you have to make this thing work, Turn around, Because here why? She is standing no nonsense. And I want to make one call on Kamala Prasad, sir. You see the Minister of Agriculture, Kevin Ratiram? You see people don't call him for years already? That issue with the fishermen thing in down in South there, where they have a pleasure craft there, that is affecting the lives of the fishermen and their boats and the anchor there and whatnot. You have to deal with that. Because they say they're trying to get in touch with you, and they are getting in touch with you. There is another issue in Southern Oropuch, where a lot of fish is dying in the river, and the people they are called to get in touch with you. And you're not getting in touch with you. Your phone ringing and you're answering. Let me tell you something, Kevin Ratiram. This is no fun. This is no joke. If you know that you are not able to do the work, resign. I am calling you because we are taking this nonsense like how it was with PNM. The Prime Minister have a position. She wants to make sure that this country is run properly, and the people that she put in place there, all they have to perform and respond to the call of people. Respond to it. This is what we put on it for, not like the last government. And here one the other say, the unpopular decision that the Prime Minister will have to make. Once it is the right decision and people see you're moving in the right direction, they will support you. So hell was who wants to otherwise. Andy, have a nice day, brother.
All right, thank you very much. Oh boy, Tunapuna, you had it lengthy, but you was on point, on par. That is what we're talking about. All the calls are open, all the lines are open. Yes.
And of
Lennox.
course, the Scotland and this opposition could again be convicted of gobbledygook, mumbo jumbo talk, because here it is. Statistically, he's saying that
hold on, caller. Let Lennox finish the point. Hold on.
Persons is supposed to benefit, and there's 400 more persons that he's catering for, suggesting that it's because of the fallout with respect to those alleged loss of work, etc. But the fact of the matter is that 600, if 600 is to be accounted for, so therefore he would have had at least 600 last year, the year before that. And why did he see it fit to mention that these people ought to have been employed by the then government of which he was a part? How come he absorbed that 600 with ease, but on this occasion, he has 600 and, as he says, plus, but trying to make the plus look as though it ought not to be, and 600 must be standard. These fellas are compound fools.
Yeah, hold on. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, good morning, Andy.
Good morning to you, and where are you calling from?
I am calling from Claxon Bay.
Go ahead, Claxon Bay. What's your contribution on the ground report this morning?
My contribution is, you know why and what you think they forced me to resign from CPEP last year, right? I was a regional coordinator in CPEP, right? All I have to tell you, what's happening now, that is what was happening when I resigned. And a lot of firm decisions have to make. You see those workers in the office, and a lot of them on the outside who is field officers. There's over 70 years they have, and they're still fighting no money. Give the young people a little chance, right? Give them a little job. That is URP, CPEP, forestry. It's real sickening. And this government had to make serious decisions.
All right, a former regional coordinator for the CPEP.
And I want to add to the callers because the callers is right.
Wait.
If you analyze it properly,
hold on,
you would
caller.
see that.
Hold on, next caller.
Yeah, you would see that there if it was not the corruption that was discovered, even though there is a judicial responsibility of the government to examine and to revisit and to assess what is happening, but quite apart from that, if those discovery of corruption, nepotism and cronyism did not exist, then they have an argument. But they exist, and yet still these people are saying and crying crocodile tears for these people, for those who may have been displaced. And I want to say temporarily, it is a small price to pay for long-term and sustainable way forward in terms of the program. But you cannot, as a politician that was responsible for that program, and all that corruption, nepotism, cronyism, now it is in court, and the court matter itself clearly on their part is failing rapidly. It is now before, in fact, the court send the files to the DPP for investigation, criminal investigation. Then you know you don't have a case. Why it is that you're pursuing that course? But that is because they believe that the PNM sycophants will, of course, grab at that, and that somehow they could get back the 100,000 that has defected from the PNM.
Go ahead, caller.
Morning, Andy. Andy.
Go ahead. Where are you calling from? What's your contribution on the ground report?
Calling from Princess Strong. Andy, I've noticed something for years now. When PNM in power, they help PNM people. When UNC in power, they help PNM people, right? And we, as either die hard PNM, not PNM, UNC. I never vote PNM in my life yet. You hear? And we cannot get nothing. Look, that same Iowa George station. That station promote to running in the people's house and invade them and beat them and rob them by a woman named Juliet Davies, right? And Aisha Wells, and look to the way they put he. You understand? How you expect the activists and them to think, to feel about that, right? That Juliet Davies, I could remember she saying running in the Indian and them house and rob them and beat them and all kind of thing, and it's Iowa George station that promote that. You hear?
So you are saying as an activist, you ain't taking it likely seeing PNM people being promoted before your very own?
No, and I noticed that for years. When PNM in power, they help PNM people. When UNC in power, they help PNM people. I don't understand this. No, they have to do something differently, man.
All right, caller. Go ahead, next caller. Morning.
Good morning to the Magnificent Tree. Boy, you know, I just listen and I just wonder where we really living. We had to get over this thing, PNM people and UNC people. We're going around this thing wrong. We wanted to get rid of the wrongly led administration, right? And because they was running the economy wrong. It's not just about I want something and you want something. Country don't run so, right? Country does run when a road fix, right? When you're getting good electricity, when you're getting good water, when you're getting good transportation, when you're getting food prices down, when you're getting gas at a cheaper rate, and all this kind of thing. This is where you want your country to go. When these things happening, don't matter how come you're living, you will live. It's not an individual thing that I had to get a position because I is an activist. I next one not an activist. Let me tell you something. If the UNC go to do bad, they wouldn't give up until nothing. You know why? Lavantil ever vote to bring the UNC in power at any time? No, but they can't think so, right? Rather, Iowa George, or who is George and who is not George, get something. He might be really at PNM at that time, and he come over. They give him something because they want to keep him there, because they don't want him to run back to the PNM, because he might be an influencer, a man who could influence people to keep voting for the PNM. And if he gets something, he might be there to tell them, look, let me change the boy. Right? Because we have more election to come. We have to understand where the Prime Minister going.
Right, but to be fair, you see, to be fair to the people again, look, you acknowledging all of that. You are saying it's not about PNM people or UNC people. You acknowledge all of that. Not understanding that people are human beings too. And no, the UNC government is not about PNM and only UNC people or this or that, or if it go.
And you don't read remember.
Right?
Yeah.
But you must put in consideration, come like you have a child, boy. Your child stand up with you, going in the market with you, helping you, doing everything for you. Come on, man, you just always say, the strongest man in the studio. And then you organize and you bypass your child. You're in mind, you bypass your child. And you put a stranger who was running you out of the market, running you out of the street, running you out of the village. Your child must hurt. And then you want to talk to your child and tell your child, don't worry about that. Don't hurt. Don't worry about that. Come on, man. All you know is a straightforward thinking person, straightforward speaking person.
Okay,
I agree. I agree. Give the government time. I agree.
Okay.
That we had to wait for the budget. We had to wait for the budget. But I cannot ignore the fact that UNC people is people too. There's humans, the hurting, and the talking out, and they must be allowed to talk. Oh God!
Yeah, I mean, nobody is saying no, but you know how much people was against when they gave Sukai to be a senator?
You go ahead with the contribution, partner. I just needed to be as God be on top. I needed to be truthful.
I am truthful.
I support the government. I support that, hey, we had to hold on. I support, let's wait for the budget. But there's no way I can ignore the cries of the people that seeing those things jump by. They're seeing it. They are human.
Yes, brother man. Everybody is human, right? But look at what he paid. Remember when they gave Sukai to be senator? Remember Sing Annual from Shogunas? Andy?
You go ahead. You go ahead.
Yeah, that happened, yes. Go ahead.
Remember that?
The people, go ahead.
Yes, right. And even to remember, even that same Scotland who they even didn't give him a ministerial post. You can remember that?
Yeah.
And everybody was saying, but how they going to give Scotland nothing by? And as a black man, it is ending up they came to work with Stuart Young. Fitzgerald Hines, right? In the ministry of security, right? So the idea is this young boy, what they call Ricky Sting or some kind of thing too, where they give him post and thing from Shogunas. You remember that? You see, we can't.
I agree with everything you're saying. You know. All I saying is, I agree with everything you're saying, but all I saying is, we cannot want to be on our people that crying out, seeing things before their own two eyes. We must understand.
Yes,
we will understand we are the way. I will understand that.
I understand
Lennox will understand that.
Take a lot of, right. It takes a lot of patience in this thing, Andy. Andy, this thing is not just how we just wanting to be, There's a lot of sacrifice we have to make, and we making that sacrifice not only this 9 years, we studying this 9 years.
What,
this sacrifice making some
what sacrifice Iowa George and Twiggy and them made?
Them make the sacrifice with the PNM because them still have nothing.
What sacrifice Selwyn Kojo, all of them who was PNM but come across made more than we people?
Okay, we know that. We know that, right? But it's showing you what the UNC is about to. You're studying that part. They are not like the PNM.
And I agree with you 100%. Again, I agree with you 100%. The issue is, again, we cannot vex with the people. What we can do, I can do. Which is the right thing. Why? The right thing is, to all UNC activists, you all have to hold on. Understand. All you have to at least wait for the budget. Understand. This is facts. Facts. The UNC will take care of their own. Things will get back up and running. Facts. But we can't ignore the people cry. Not everybody strong like me. Strong like Lennox. Strong like Moon Sami. Strong like Miss Milkbook. Strong like this. Strong like that. Especially when we own people coming to talk. We saying them is PNM. How ironic and wicked we could be to be very own. Based on the personal feelings. Oh God. Why you only wouldn't feel for them? Because it's not all their children? Because all you see about all yourself and all you're eating when the day come? Because all your children and grandchildren books already buy for school and school shoes? Why we own people not feeling for we own people? We're not saying that they're not impatient. Anderson Wilson and all of them is a set of impatient clowns. KFC, all of them. They're very impatient. They need to give the government the chance. But we cannot go about attacking these UNC people. Oh God. We must leave them to talk. So long as they're not being disrespectful. And we all will do what it is we are accustomed doing. Is letting them know, just hold. The government now start. Everybody will be taken care of. Miss Roadbrook and everybody will do that. Miss Santa Cruz, everybody will do that. We have to. But we cannot want to go against we own people that hurting and talking out, willing to wait, but seeing other people who was dying at PNM, what didn't have to wait, but them have to. They are human beings. They must hurt. But when they're talking out, or they want to attack the people.
But Andy, there is a, the situation is not as straightforward as that. It is much more complex, and one can see that in this case, of course, is the UNC come into government. They have the responsibility of placing people in political appointed position or politically dominated or nominated positions. But of course, they will have their own priorities as well. And therefore, for example, they may say, as we have seen, that certain boards, they give priority as opposed to other boards, if we are taking it from a board perspective and the appointment of chairman and board of directors. Now, I cannot say, for example, if it is that we saw Iowa, for example, on the campaign trail, belated as it was, but I cannot, for one moment, will ever say that I am more qualified than Iowa George, for example, to be on the National Carnival Commission's board. If it comes to a competition or it comes to that level of competence that you would want to have on such a board. It means, therefore, they will now, if that is before them, they will now have to weigh the level of competency and the level of, I wouldn't say notoriety, that is a negative term, but I would say the professionalism and the experience that Iowa would bring to the board, both in terms of a owner of a radio station that promotes the culture, and as one an ambassador, an entertainer, calypsonian, soca artist, and so on. And therefore, clearly, if I don't have those qualities, what should the decision makers do?
No, but
see where I'm coming from.
They have to,
but there may be other instances, like for example, being on a radio station board, for example, in this case TDT, and Mickie, let's say Mickie is of course is assigned to that particular entity, then one can see what Mickie will bring to that particular entity. I'm just making the point. You see, because it has to do with a personal experience as well, which of course I will talk. If we have a caller, go ahead and take the call. But I just want to make people understand that it's priority first in terms of which boards they are going to focus on. They can't focus on all simultaneously. It's impossible, logistically, intellectually, and administratively. So they have, and they're coming down the road. And probably the most important boards, they have, of course, addressed. Let me put it that way. And so far, we can't complain because that is in fact so. We have seen, of course, the Petrotrain. We have seen, of course, all in the energy industry, including, of course, TNTech, etc. So therefore, of course, by and large, that seemed to be the pattern. And we have to observe that. Of course, while there may be people that you may not want there, but it may be those considerations that would have informed the decision to put someone who obviously would have been anti at one point in time, conspicuously anti-UNC, and put them on a particular board. That's the only thing that's the only rationale I can see for that kind of situation that will cause, of course, some disquiet among the activists. Go ahead.
Right. At the end of the day, technically, it come like you're spitting in people's face and raining. With that kind of talk there, Lennox, between me and you. Right? Because it have a lot of qualified people waiting the UNC. Straight talk. Anyhow, and I want to agree with Moonsami, Miss Santa Cruz, on the grounds of as the way some of the activists and all going about it. Well, disrespectful. Wait.
Give me a name to replace Iowa George. And then I will accept what you say.
Wait. Yeah. And I agree with Anna Moonsami. Based again on you activists is the way all they're going about it too. All they're going about the whole thing very disrespectful. And it are ways and means to go about it. And not in that way.
I feel like you're avoiding the question I asked you, boy.
Man, again,
give me someone
it's not for me to say that. It's not for me to say that. It's for the government
to be where Iowa was placed. That's all.
It's not for me to say that. It's for the government to say why they put he there. I have nobody else in the UNC better than Iowa.
You see, you made a broad statement that I'm pissing it in the face. So I want to know how you
because it's not for you to say that.
I'm looking at a
because it's not for you to say.
May be responsible for such decision that may be considered to be natural. Natural.
And you had your opinion, and your opinion was right, and you say why, and you think and talking for the government, and why you believe and whatever. And I had my opinion, and my opinion was that is not for you to really and truly say. That is for the government to talk. And in my book, that kind of talk come like a pissing in my face, and because you can't tell me that. It's the government that tell me how manage Iowa is more qualified than other activists that be more. That's not my work. My work here is just trying to make the peace, letting the people know, have patience. I respect. I understand your burdens. I understand your pain. The government is still working on a PNM supplementary budget. Understand, they had to organize and close down some of those programs for now to restructure. You all will be in order. It's just a matter of time. You all will be in order. But all you have to also wait for the budget. The budget, whereby when they put their budget in place, after that, if you all not seeing some kind of progress based on you all being UNC, foot soldiers, activists, and all those various things, and you all see the next 3 months from now that all you not see no progress, well then I could understand. But for now, my stance, and again that is my opinion, whether it is Anderson, whether it is this, or it is Reed and them were trying to chain up people, or echoes of horrors that say ask Lennox, tell Lennox, crazy, more qualified than I were. That not my business. That not my opinion again. The government do what they do. The most I can tell you, the activists, because we don't want PNM. And we don't want to fuel, especially with the local government elections coming, the PNM. The PNM is a piping party. There's a spranging party. There's a baby killing party. There's a obia walking party. There's a bully party. There's the worst thing that ever happened to Trinidad and Tobago. And we mustn't take part in gaining them back no life at all. None. None. But we cannot also ignore your cries. Legitimate. It's legitimate cries you all have. As human beings. But I believe the government knows best. They're making their decisions accordingly. But whole hands, whole strain, the will, just give them budget. Give them the time for budget. I believe most of them work shift programs will start back up. And many of you, the UNC activists that are hurting at this point in time, you all will get through. The Honorable Leader Kamala Prasad Bisesa said, just give us some time. She told the public servants that on an election promise. Do you all really believe she will only study the public servants and not study you all who labored in the vineyard? You all heard her in Couva talking to her MPs, reading the riot act, letting them know, don't forget their people. She did, and each and every one of you, KFC, all of you all heard her. Joe Field, Alba woman Joe Field, you all heard her. She asked for time. She said she will keep her election promise. And whether it have things that you all are seeing that you all may not like, because you all seen your all very own that will be qualified to or are qualified to. It have a lot of state boards to still pick. It have a lot of things to still do so long as you all are qualified for. And as Lennox Smith always say, political patronage is political patronage all over. In America, in England, no matter where it have elections, it will have political patronage. And nobody mustn't watch political patronage as anybody begging. Or as anybody to have no right. Because the people who campaign with Donald Trump, at this point in time, they are getting their political patronage too. It is what it is. It's a part of life. It's a part of culture. It's not only in Trinidad and Tobago. It's all over. Activists, mainlines, all of them does get favors. So nobody rather feel shame or say, no, but if the UNC doing a favor for the people, that is wrong. That biasness. No, that is not biasness. That is how it is. It is what it is. They have to do for the people. Okay? So I hope this thing done until at least give them time for the budget. You could go ahead, Lennox.
and that's my opening statement that it is much more complex than that. For those who are taking it from just this narrow perspective, then I could easily argue, well, Alexander should not be given a ministerial position because nobody knew him in the party before. I'm talking about, of course, the former police officer, for example. So, so all of these are factors that most of us may not be aware of, but would have been factored into the decision to provide a particular position. And I agree slightly with Andy in that we will not know the nitty gritty, but a fella like Alexander having won his seat, you can of course question that, because I mean that was totally successful. Of course, in the case of Iowa, you may have there's an opportunity there to question because we don't know the details. But of course, it does not take away, as Andy would have said, and the basis for this discussion, the feeling that people are being ignored at the expense of others, even though that person who is feeling being ignored may do so vicariously, meaning that for others, like for Andy, for myself, etc., and therefore, of course, expressing themselves in the way that they would have. I agree with Andy that it is early days yet generically, and that there is much more to be done. And I think he agrees with me that there is a priority system, or put another way, that no party, no matter how well-meaning and how efficient their apparatus is, coming into government in a country like Trinidad and Tobago, can within 3 months put into position every single mechanism of government, especially where you have to put people to manage and displace those who were there before. It's a complex exercise. It takes time, yes, but of course, we in our own internal time system or our own timeline will say whether or not enough time has been given. Certainly, all the positions have not been filled, and therefore that is one way to determine at one point in time one will of course express their disappointment vehemently or not. So now is not the time, because all a substantial part, I think is 18, I think more boards are to be filled. And of course the Prime Minister did in fact say that people are thinking on the occasion of the 100 days, people are thinking that they are taking too slow, but as I have said, these things take time, and it would have been as a result of those issues that most of us may not consider, because you want it now, or you find that it ought to have happened before. But those are realities that must be considered as administrators. And I was speaking from that perspective. Administration is not an overnight thing. You need to do due diligence. You need to, and due diligence include watching at people's resume, watching at their performance if they don't have a resume, watching at their contribution in a particular field or to the party, as the case may be, in order, of course, to come at a decision, to arrive at a decision, to put the right fit. And more so, everything is not fit, even if they fill all the vacant positions. That still does not mean that it's going to work perfectly, so that there is a time frame. Most boards are for 3 years, and after 3 years, of course, you either you are renewed or you have an opportunity to go on to other things. I remember when I was on small business board, for example, under Pandey. I spent only 2 years. I had another appointment in Grenada, and I simply resigned and went to Grenada before the 3-year period was up. So all of those are issues that has to be done. So not to say that you don't know, and therefore the party had to say so, etc. No. Your common sense and experience and knowledge will, of course, also aid in deciding why it is that things are the way they are at this point in time.
Go ahead, caller.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Good morning, Andy Williams. Good morning, Ground Report.
Good morning to you.
So I'm hearing this thing about the activists and these people and them, right? Now, everybody know we had a deficit of something like some 400 and something. Me can't even check that kind of money, brother. Right? $1 billion in debt. Right? I could just say billions and billions and billions in debt. Right? People seeing clearly the way the country running, there's only so much people getting or being placed. Every single thing takes time. All right? But my contribution to that, right, is what I would like to point out to Trinidad and Tobago that is in our doorstep today, and I see in CNC3 using their favorite taglines, the word slam. So everybody's slamming and slamming this morning. Anyway, that's dealing concerning with the geopolitical activities with Maduro, United States, Guyana, and Trinidad and Tobago. All right? So what I would like to point out to everybody today, UNC, PNM, everybody in Trinidad and Tobago, the defense, whoever it is, right, the ground people, whoever, I would like to point out that Trinidad and Tobago, right, the investigations of Mr. Donald J. Trump, based on his executive orders that caused these people to come down to fight against narco-terrorist organization, drug shipment, whatever the situation, the PNM government had been investigated in 2022. Here to report, Andy Williams, right? Now, we are seeing people today being placed on certain boards in Trinidad and Tobago here, and these people from each area, according to what you said, and this is correct, they had been under the guise of UNC, but stronghold, placed by whoever it is involved in these sort of crimes and acts. You understand? So the people, I believe, what is creating the issue here is the people who is placing these people on boards have absolutely no idea, or some of them is being manipulated into placing these people on them in certain strategic position. Now, the outcome of this is going to have the Donald Trump military intervene directly in our United National Congress government. And some of the activists, this is one of the reasons why it is you hearing people are talking up. If the country could understand what I am saying, PNM is a labeled narco-terrorist organization. They have had people in the UNC strong for many years, now being placed on government boards. So what is actually going to happen there now with the clampdown of the narco-terrorist regiment of Venezuela and dealings with Trinidad and Tobago, who is known to everybody in Trinidad and Tobago as a big transshipment point. And they have absolutely nobody in Trinidad and Tobago is coming out with this. It's like everybody fear, but they shouldn't fear, because here why? The investigation haven't been started. It had been started in 2022 and 2020, as a matter of fact. So people shouldn't have no fear. They should speak out. They should identify these people.
All right.
And so this is what is creating an issue now. Hear what? I'm just kind of saving the UNC back here, you know. You understand? Because when these people and them start to do the operation, first thing they're going to say, well, is UNC have them people there? No, it is not. And then again, yes, it is. Because the people who are selecting these people for the boards, they absolutely have no clue, or for the fact that they are in with them. So that is the problem in Trinidad and Tobago, and that is my contribution here this morning.
All right.
A labeled narco-terrorist organization. I'm hearing, and yeah, you saying, yeah, they put in PNM people in them boards and this and that. So when Mr. Donald Trump sent down his big military militias here to wheel out all the people who in involvement with Mr. Terrorist, and their names, right, is on a list. And they are sitting on boards in Trinidad and Tobago under the United National Congress. What position does that leave us in? That is my thing.
All right.
Understand? So these people, whoever is choosing the boards, need to seriously sit down and understand what it is they are doing to our own government, the United National Congress. Blessings and have a good day.
All right, caller. All right. Thank you so much. I was trying to understand some of the things, but go ahead, caller. Next caller.
Yeah. Blessed morning again, Andy. Blessed morning again, Lennox. And then, you know why it's KFC, right? I was born on fire and calling my government to close down a cafeteria. Was running by Gapsi Dole in Iran West. I said they closed down the cafeteria. That is fine and good because Gapsi Dole was running a cafeteria. She was selling water for $8 to one. You buy a bake for $15. You have to pay $12 to put something in the bake. But the Social Development Board is still up here and activists who on that board there. I could call them out. If them who victimize me and bust my truck because they know I have supported the UNC, my moral activists. Before I go on the board, them really attacking me. And then make me bring all doctor papers, all them kind of things.
All right, but KFC, did you understand what it is Lennox Smith explained? What I and all explained, that we understand that, right, but you all had to get the government time. All had to get the government to get the budget.
Of course, you had to get the government time to read the budget. So you didn't get the government time.
Yeah, but then why?
I didn't get the government time. I was just come on our platform dancing and certain nonsense there. I was just put on the program this costing the UNC for the last 9 years. Let me be real with yourself. Because genuine activists who go on the toilet who fighting, who getting tear gas and doing that. I don't want to be on no board. I'm on board, but let me go and tell the board. Called board. I don't think they are no board. The same other take Twiggy. And if she cleaning water, I can take that work, check the cleaning work. I can mention it. I will work, I have to try to see about, I don't care about Twiggy and them, cause, and I was telling Marvin Gonzalez, but I interview Pastor Good bring him there, and I was just begging him to sing a water song. Up feel and then you get a water song to sing. He sing a song with you and singing in a board already. We don't care about qualification ever. George, I wanted that. Not any qualification. Yes, it's true. But UNC activists who supported the party for the last 9 years and keeping the fire still blazing. So we give the government time. We have a budget to read, and after the budget, you will come and speak with mine and see what's going on. Look, I see my supporters and I'm eating and drinking too. Only PNM and make sure the activists eat and drink the proper way. Bless.
All right. Oh boy. Wow. Go ahead, next caller. So I hope after today, we won't be getting that set of calls and complaints about we don't all your talk and leave all here to do this, do that. We don't mind that, but it must be respectable. Morning caller. Go ahead, caller. We are hearing you. Listen to the phone, not the radio, not the television.
Andy, Lennox, good morning. I want the people, our activists, to sit down and understand. Look when Obika moved over, what Rowley did. He gave him a position. The PNM people keep quiet. I want us to understand Kamala said she's going to do things for us. We have to dress back. I cannot go where Selvin Kojo go. I can't. My qualification is not high as that. They put Iowa there because of experience. People talking about 9 years. They fighting the fight. I fighting the fight since Pandey started this party. And I am for country. I get, thank God, but I'm fighting for the country. We have to dress back and wait. The PNM put us in a state there where Kamala had to pay back lots of money. People not watching at all that. Patricia Reed will talk about, she said she given milk and honey. Yes, she given milk and honey, but she have to pay back what the PNM spend. What a thief. And I am saying, we get tear gas, we get whatever. We don't have to go down that road because we for country. The budget has to read. When the budget read, you go back to your MPs and say, here what, I would like to get so, please help me. Wherever Twiggy go, don't look at that. Wherever Iowa go, don't look at that. We being petty here. You understand? Just imagine I was watching and I'm listening. I saw a video on Facebook. This woman talking about where she have to pass on a bridge on the Beatum. The place stink. You know putting that 9 years. You know putting up that. Why you was not doing that all the time? And at the end of the day, if people could help, yes, help them, because it's Trinidad and Tobago. It's not PNM, it's not UNC, and it's time for this to stop. And you all have a blessed day.
Go ahead, next caller. Pleasant good morning to you.
Andy Williams, good morning to you, Andy Williams. Good morning to you, Lennox Smith. Andy Williams, am I live?
Yes, you are.
Right. And good morning to you, Mickie K, wherever you are. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Let me just say, we Papa, before I make my contribution. We Papa. I give support to some of the UNC activists that speak out. I give support to them. Most of the activists and them that speaking out right now, they're not being rude, they're not being disrespectful. It's a method activists use when they want to draw people in authority attention. And if you don't call the radio station with respect and ask for that representation, ministers will know you need that representation. For 9 years, I want to tell you people and them, I am proud of you all of being UNC, and I am proud of the activists that are not being UNC. And all you have a level of authority to speak to. But you cannot come down and the activists and them that speak it out with respect. They are not millionaires. They are not 100% independent brothers and sisters. We see the struggle. From 2015, we see the struggle. Let me give them from 2018, because the People's Partnership was in office and they had 2 years. They had 2 years living good still. But from 2018, the little money they make run out. The little opportunity they had, they lost the work too. And most of the country lost the work. If the UNC activists and them don't have today, what do they have to do? What do they have to do? Not speak out? How those UNC activists and them feel to know that the people, the activists and them that's speaking out, He get no opportunity. I am very sad that Lennox Smith, a leader of the coalition, not he have a job today yet, you know. That is a sad thing, you know. I am not condemning my leader and my political party for saying that. But the wider population that listen to the ground report, watch the ground report, for years will see that Lennox Smith is a dedicated worker to be on computer and with that pen, writing and seeking people interest all day, sometimes 12 o'clock in the night. That is not no easy thing. Lennox Smith is not a millionaire. I hear people call the radio station and say Lennox Smith cash shutting all about the place. I believe Lennox Smith supposed to be in a better position than many of the PNM activists and them. The PNM activists and them, I wouldn't call them PNM activists, but who get opportunity in front of the UNC activists and them. It's sad, but that is the reality of life. And the activists and them not insulting the MPs. Why it is, after 4-5 months, Andy Williams, I would not come down on the UNC. I know about the time you have to give. But the citizens of this country have to understand, especially those UNC supporters that come out. Let me say good morning to Ms. Santa Cruz. I think she make a great point. The UNC activists and them that coming out to answer back so rude to the activists and them. This is the 4th month. PNM, UNC MPs and them work for, it has some of them work for over $120,000 already. It has some of them work for over $160,000 already. UNC activists make $1 yet. After 9 years. For 9 years to call radio station without WhatsApp. You know how much money they put on the phone? You know how much money people just put on the phone to call a radio station when they're not using WhatsApp? That is dedication to the party. That is loyalty to the party. How it is? I am not jamming my political party. I respect my political party. But how it is? The ground MPs and them, hearing the brothers and them speaking, and why it is, yeah, they draw their attention. Why it is all they call them in yet? What are all UNC activists? Are they not listening to the ground report again? UNC ministers? Are they not listening to the ground report? If you all listen to the ground report, and you hear the brothers and them speaking out, why it is all they don't draw their attention? And ask for them to come in and meet and have a conversation. Why? That is the only way the pulling and tugging will stop. By dialogue and conversation, and you could call them. All you know Anderson phone number, all you know KFC phone number, and all you know every one of the activists and them number that call in the ground report. Why it is all you can have a conversation with them. And I think that all you're supposed to have a conversation now. You don't deny the activists and them that work on the ground and put you in power. Your responsibility is not to get in power and deny the activists and them now. It is a constitutional responsibility, MPs. It can point up here. I don't have no problem with my MP. None at all. Because that is the person, my MP will give me the opportunity and give the community the opportunity. But how good and pleasant it will be for ministers to hear the people them speaking out and say, hey, no, we can't turn we back on them. Let's contact KFC. Let us contact Anderson. Let us find out what's going on. These people them as fighters and strugglers for our political party, and when them fight and struggle, we get, the MPs get the greatest opportunity. They get the greatest opportunity by the struggle of the activists Today, the activists and them that's speaking out probably don't have money to buy a grocery. Probably don't have money to buy books and things for the children to go to school. Probably don't have money. They're seeing how we go pay the transport for the children and to go to school. Why it is when UNC activists speak out, UNC activists who probably have opportunity already will come to condemn the people and them. No, that's right. That's right. Why all of you ask the ministers and them? Many of you all out there have the minister's number. Why all can't call the minister of air and say, Mr. Minister, you need to see what we're going on. Anderson's a tired fighting member for the United National Congress. Let's draw his attention. Let us give him the representation that we promised to do. The Honorable Prime Minister say that she's going to see about the most vulnerable first. You know what is the most vulnerable? The people them that's speaking out for opportunity. The people them that's speaking out that don't have 3 square meals a day. That is what the people them struggle and campaign to vote on the PNM to put the UNC for. That is what the vote on the PNM for. So that the children, the family, and the country will get a better opportunity. I don't think that the people them should and I don't think that they should come down and name Iowa George because he get an opportunity. I don't think they should come down on Twiggy because she get an opportunity. I don't think they should come down on them. They work the way in. Why it is the people who, the UNC activists who trying to work their way in, not getting in, and the ministers not getting involved to get them in. Why? Why? Trinidad and Tobago. Some of you all outside there, and I'm not referring to Miss Santa Cruz. Some of you all outside there, I'm not referring to Miss Santa Cruz. Some of you all outside over there, tell yourself it's a tribal thinking. It is not no tribal thinking when you work hard and put people in office to represent you. Most of the activists and them that I know and work on the ground, today they're not working. Today they have no opportunity. 1 or 2 of them who was working European CPAM, today they're not working. What you want them to do? Not call the radio station and speak with respect as what they are doing. That is what they're doing. What you want them to do is to sit down home. Sit down home. Sometimes they can't have money to buy a conkers for the children. They don't have money to buy a tin of corned beef to write to cook. What you want them to do? Call the radio station and say, UNC, I'm a party. That is not politics. Sir. That is keeping a blind eye to the things that matters in life. UNC activists who under pressure, I understand your plight. I understand you call the radio station and you ask for representation with respect. Because me is here no disrespect yet. UNC activists, stop fighting on the UNC activists and them that's speaking out for opportunity. Stop that. Because today, tomorrow, it have a local election. Those same people them coming right back and vote for the UNC. Those same people them coming right back and vote for the UNC. You know what make it much more sad? Ground report. There is a local election coming up. It has certain MPs and them hearing the activists and them speaking out. Why don't draw their attention? Why don't call them in and speak to them? Eh? Rather than the saying, the calling. They was texting, they was answering back and texting, and then when they start a call, they're getting on. Why are you not answering your phone? How you was answering your phone from 2015 to 2025? How you was answering your phone all that time? And all of a sudden you're not answering your phone. Why? It's because you have too much at work. I'll tell you something, ground reporter. Ministers, I'm tell you something, ministers. Those fancy life, the fancy life that you all have today, the opportunity that you all have today, the activists and them for the UNC work tirelessly, sleepless night to give you that opportunity. You have a constitutional responsibility now to give them, create opportunity for them. And a message a message to the UNC. Please, Andy Williams don't want to board membership, but please seek Lennox Smith interest. Lennox Smith worked very hard. I have been here in Lennox Smith talking for the UNC over 30 years without anything. He maybe get some help 1 or 2 times, yes. It's time for that fella to be in some work. What I have to do, I have to continue planting 200 tomatoes, plant every time to have a life. I don't mind doing that. But if I have to do that, I am going to speak about the things that matters in life. I have to plant 300 bygone tree to make a living. Yes, I will do those things to make a living. But what are the people that might put an opportunity? What are the people that might vote for? I'm not speaking about my MP. What about the other ministers and who are the luxury, who could get passport for all the children immediately, visa for all the children immediately, opportunities for the whole family immediately? That is what I vote, and that's the opportunity they get. That is the opportunity they get. Whilst we vote for them, whilst we struggle, and we campaign, and we get tear gas, that is the opportunity they get now. Consider that opportunity we give you, and don't deny the activists them just a phone call. That's rude, and that disrespectful. And I was not rude at all in my whole contribution. Ground reporter. Thank you.
All right. Kunji, COP. On your time check, it's a minute past the hour of 10 o'clock. I'm going to say thanks so much to all of you that look on to us. You all could have choose anywhere else, but you all choose the ground report. Don't forget Corridor Transformation tonight at 8 o'clock. Don't forget, same time, same place tomorrow from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on the social media platforms, and from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Guyal, Trinidad and Tobago.
Just before we go on, I just want to just say this, because I said I believe it for last, and that is that in spite of the obvious for some people that there are appointments that may not be familiar to most of us or some of us, regardless, or that there are people who may not have been supportive of the party, the decision, let me say categorically, the decision to appoint persons must, on a common basis, the golden thread running between or among all of them is that the party made the decision based on the fact that they believe that they will carry out the party's policy irregardless of where it is. Let me repeat, in spite of the differences and the fact that people may not have been ostensibly or covertly or overtly been known to be a UNC supporter, a person who is appointed, the administration, those who are making decisions, must have been convinced that those appointees would have been sufficiently accurate and conscious of the fact that they have to carry out the policies and programs of the government. That is why they are there, ultimately. So let us not waste time. Of course, our apology for the break in transmission a bit earlier. 1 and 2, of course, we will resume corridor transformation tonight. Yes, all of you who have been waiting, yes, with the new programming, we will begin, of course, tonight at 8 o'clock. Of course, we will stay with the 8 to 9:30, so we take about an hour and a half as we work towards reducing it to about an hour. I'm only human, and we try to train some people as well. All right, so I thought that was important to end today's discussion on this particular matter, which has generated some disquiet among many of the supporters and those persons who would have given their blood, sweat, and tears at times for making sure that the 28th of April manifests itself in the way that it did. 26 seats. Yeah.
Well, my head hurting me.
Right.
My head ain't gonna lie. My head hurting me. It hurting. I hope tomorrow discussions will be more in depth on many other things that are going on in Trinidad and Tobago, and that we give the government at least until October, November, however long it takes. Just give them the time to get a budget together. Then
and get yourself get the boards and so on in place. That is the only way you can have a complete government and functioning to deliver the policies and programs. And as I said, the bottom line, the golden thread, every single appointee must be committed to the policies and programs and therefore the execution of that of the government.
Nice. So until tomorrow morning, please go same time, same place. You all know where. On behalf of the ground report team, Lennox Smith, Michael Kerr, I'm Andy Williams, better known as a Pitbull. With a headache, just give them time. We are out of it.
You get a headache or what?
Yeah. It's too much of that.
Yeah. Well, people are disappointed, and and they will express themselves. And it's only here if they could get both relief as well as good therapy. See you tomorrow, people, on the ground report.
Boy, bye-bye. But the band in there, get me quiet, boy. Boy, oh Lord. Right. And then COP come there and talking very nice, but letting them know what time it is in a very, very nice way. Boy, oh my God.
That's part of it.
They're good. Yeah, man.
The Ground Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
Bang, 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 bang.